Hey guys, let's talk about what I just saw. Anyone in the mood for some comedic kickassery?
The Universal action comedy, Nobody, is out in theaters now, and it's a really delightful, if predictable, B-movie romp. The movie is about Hutch Mansell, a seemingly average suburban father with the usual drudgery-filled life. It turns out, however, that once upon a time he was an assassin for hire for government agencies and has had problems moving on from his past. After his house gets robbed and his family starts to become distant from him, he decides to go find and confront the robbers. This leads to a sequence of events in which he gets on the bad side of some really bad, powerful people and has to reawaken his long-dormant skills to survive.
Here are some of the things I really loved about this movie.
First of all, Bob Odenkirk is great as the main character, as he manages to convincingly pull off being a badass vigilante, while at the same time being pretty funny. It also helps that he plays an early John McClane kind of role, where we see that he is vulnerable and not just a bullet sponge. The film is also clearly made by people who understand that its audience wants to see a heightened reality where Odenkirk really fucks up some evil criminals, in a way that is cartoonish and quite often darkly humorous. Finally, the film makes sure to have some heart to it with how Odenkirk's character interacts with his family. This helps to make his character very sympathetic and not just a cold-blooded basket case.
Now, major spoiler ahead, so skip to this part if you want to see the movie and be surprised.
Perhaps my favorite part of the film is, surprisingly enough, Christopher Lloyd. Going off the main trailer for the film, I went into it sadly expecting him just to be a frail old father to Odenkirk, who would have at most a couple of scenes. Instead, at around the point where the film reaches its last act, he ends up becoming a shotgun-toting badass who was a joy to watch, as well as providing some prime meme fodder for huge Back to the Future fans like myself.
Now, while this is a great movie overall, its first act is a little wonky.
For one thing, the editing during the first few minutes is a little too hectic when showing Hutch's daily routine, with an overabundance of quick cuts. This, however, largely disappears once we get to the inciting incident of his house being broken into. Finally, things do escalate a little too quickly during the first act, and could have been paced better. Overall, I give Nobody an A-. Despite some overly frantic editing and pacing early on, it's a really fun, cartoonishly over-the-top, and genuinely fun movie.
Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. Also, follow me on Twitter at PCNHGuy, and you might as well check out my Pop Culture and History Guy Patreon. By the way, special thanks to Patreon supporter L'Oreal McNabb. Have a nice day.